Testing 1, 2, 3. Ready? Streaming, please. Okay, brilliant, thank you. Welcome to the hybrid special meeting of the Council tonight. Members, thank you. Can I ask everyone to please mute their microphones at all times unless invited to speak by myself. Members should be mindful that microphones, when switched on, are sensitive and may broadcast other conversations being held in the vicinity. I would also ask members, when it is their turn to speak into the microphone so that they can be clearly heard by those in the chamber and those listening from home. So we're going to item 1. An apology has been received from Councillor Alexander. Can I check if there's any more from the floor?
Thank you, Lord Mayor. Can I apologise on behalf of Councillor Kyle Moutray, please?
That's noted, thank you. I'm going to bring in Councillor Nelson.
Thank you, Lord Mayor. Can I apologise on behalf of Councillor McCartan and Councillor O'Dowd? Our other members are online.
Thank you, Councillor Nelson. Can I check if there are any declarations of interest? No lights on, so we're going to move then to item 3.1 and we're going to bring Roger in for this one.
Thank you, Lord Mayor, and good evening, members. The purpose of tonight's meeting is to strike the district rate for the financial year 2025-26 in accordance with the regulations requiring councils to strike a rate before the 15th of February. Striking a rate for the Borough is one of the most important duties the Council has to undertake each year, and it's the final step of a long and rigorous period of discussions, deliberations and decisions. This year, our estimates process commenced in May of 2024, far earlier than we would normally do. And since then, there has been detailed, intensive and regular engagement both internally across Council directorates and with members and party groupings. As we meet here this evening, I would like to take a moment to reflect on what has been an extensive and robust rate-setting process that we have all been engaged in for those months. During the process, both officers and members have looked at the internal and external factors causing financial pressures, many of them significant and uncontrollable, and we have mitigated many of these by identifying efficiencies across the Council departments. We have faced significant external pressures, including an increase to national insurance contributions, which becomes a recurring cost pressure for us. For the incoming year, this has placed a cost pressure of £1.3 million on us, which equates to 1.5% extra on the rates. Without this additional pressure, the proposed rate increase would be below the CPI figure of 2.5%. These pressures have not only complicated our financial landscape, but have also posed considerable challenges in balancing our budget, while striving to meet the needs and expectations of our residents and businesses. Internally, we have worked hard to streamline our operations, identifying areas where efficiencies can be made without compromising the quality of the services we provide. Our teams have demonstrated exceptional dedication, working tirelessly to ensure that every decision we make delivers positive outcomes for our community. Externally, we've had to navigate a volatile economic environment, engaging with stakeholders and partners to understand the broader implication of these challenges. The insight gained from these interactions have been invaluable, and they've helped us to forecast and plan more effectively. Despite the various hurdles, our focus has remained clear. We have not lost sight of our long-term vision for the Borough. We recognise that investment in infrastructure, community projects and economic development is crucial for our future growth and prosperity. Therefore, even in these challenging times, we have continued to allocate resources and support initiatives that will drive progress and enhance the quality of life for all who live and work here. Members and officers have worked hard to arrive at a proposed rate increase that is a compromise that takes account of considerable financial pressures, delivering our statutory obligations and doing so in the context of having finite resources available to the Council. As Chief Executive and under the Local Government Finance Act, I am legally required to be satisfied that the estimates presented should provide adequate financial resources to support the running costs of the organisation for the 2025-26 year, to provide an assurance to members on the robustness of the revenue estimates and the adequacy of Council's reserves position as part of this rate-setting process. The budget presented tonight meets these requirements. Members are also reminded that whilst we are considering the district rate and are endeavouring to keep it as low as possible, this is only one component of the rates bill. It is uncertain as to what the regional rate is likely to be or when it will be announced. This element of our ratepayers' bill is outside of Council's control. We are required to strike the rate by the 15th of February, and I'm aware that most other councils have already struck their rate for the next year, and that the rate proposed for this council, if agreed tonight, will be one of the lowest in Northern Ireland. I would like to express my sincere thanks to the Estimates and Efficiency Working Group, to party leaders, the Governance, Resources and Strategy Committee, and members right across the Chamber for their engagement, their scrutiny, their advice and their support during this estimates process. There have been open and honest conversations which have helped enormously in getting us to the point where I hope all parties can support the proposed rates increase for next year. There's a considerable amount of work that goes into the process, and a wide range of officers are involved at all levels, and I would like to thank those staff across the organisation for their work, in particular Charlene and my colleagues in EMT, heads of department, and in particular the finance team led by Dominic, with invaluable support from Liam, Patrick and Chris. The rate before members tonight is a recommendation that has come from the Special Governance Committee. It equates to an increase of 3.91% for the domestic and non-domestic rate. And Lord Mayor, I am satisfied to recommend this report to the Council for approval. Thank you.
Thank you, Roger. I'm now going to seek a proposer and seconder, and first I'm going to bring in Alderman Baxter. Oh. Right. Councillor Meckle, do you want to go in first since your face has appeared on the screen? Yeah.
Thank you, Lord Mayor. Yes, I am happy to propose a recommendation. Just like to thank Dominic and Liam and all their team. I know their whole working year revolves around this night as the highlight of their year. I think at 3.91% is a figure that is good for both the borough and the ratepayers. And thanks to all the members who took part in the estimates process. As Roger said, it was a long and arduous process, but I think we all worked hard to get to this figure, and it's a figure I think we can stand over. So happy to recommend the recommendation, propose a recommendation.
Thank you, Councillor Meckle. I'm going to bring in Alderman Baxter, please.
Thank you, Lord Mayor. Yeah, look, I'm happy enough to second this proposal. Just a few comments, really, in terms of what we done in the what I like to call the Department of Local Government Efficiencies, or DOGE, as it will become known in this council. I'll refrain from calling Dominic Elon, but you know where I'm coming from. The Estimates Working Group, we started meeting in May, and I think the picture then was quite bleak. But as every year, under the leadership of Charlene and Roger, and Dominic and his finance team with Liam and the others, and members, we met quite a bit to try and get this down to a palatable rate. But I think it is worth noting, whilst we are one of the lowest rate increases locally in the country throughout the 11 councils, and the Chief Executive alluded to it, the national insurance burden this year of 1.3 million. Now, by my figures, that is 1.47% on the rate. So if you take it away from the 3.91, it would have been about 2.44. And I stand to be corrected, but Dominic's nodding at me. So that is below, obviously, what the CPI was at 2.5. So that has to be commended. But I think, you know, whenever you heard what the Labour government promised before the budget, they said they wouldn't increase taxes on working people. And the Prime Minister insisted, and I'll quote him, "Working people will not be hit by these charges." So the Prime Minister isn't going to answer. He's certainly not going to answer to me here. But I would put it out there that the Prime Minister said that very clearly. Who does he think pays the rates bill? It's working people. So instead of a 2.44 rate increase here locally, we're at a rate increase of 3.91, and that's solely at the feet of Keir Starmer and the Labour government, who promised the people that taxes would not hit the working people. So I just wanted to make that point, and I know it'll fall certainly in very deaf ears at Westminster, but I think it's a point worth noting, and it's a point worth noting for the ratepayer. And I know the Chief Executive highlighted it, but I think it's something worth highlighting again, that we would have been below the interest rate only for that increase, and that's for the council. And we are in the position where, You know, we can get that money because we just put it onto the ratepayer to pay that extra bill. But I'm thinking of the businesses across this borough who are going to be hiked with these national insurance increases, and businesses are most likely. Some businesses go to the wall because of that budget. But I'm digressing from the point at hand here. I'm quite happy to second the proposal, and I think with the team we have up here, I think we started in May last year, and I know we'll be doing that again this year because there's always fat in the system, and I know the chief executive and the finance team and the officers and the heads of the department will be rolling their eyes and saying, we really are at the bare bones, but you know, as elected representatives, we're custodians of the ratepayers, and we're a party of low rates, and we will always have to identify savings where there is. So if there's any more fat in the system, we will endeavour to find it over the next 12 months. But all thanks to the team, thanks to Dominic and Liam and his team, especially for bringing us to where we are tonight. So on that basis, I'm quite happy to second the proposal. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Baxter. Members, I have a proposer and seconder and no further lights on. Are we happy to move on? Okay, that brings me then to 3.2, and Dominic is going to take us through the report, please.
Thank you, Lord Mayor, and good evening, members. Just before I address the report at 3.2, members, I'd just like firstly to say thank you for your kind words, Alderman Baxter and Councillor Michael, and just to pass on my thanks to all members for your energy and input and guidance throughout the estimates process, through various meetings of the Estimates and Efficiency Working Group, meetings of the Governance Committee, and more recently in member briefings in January. It's certainly been a very robust and engaging process in what continue to be very challenging economic conditions. So it's great that we've now struck a rate, and that allows us to set balanced budgets for this council for the 25-26 financial year. And also just to thank Roger, Charlene and the rest of the senior leadership team for their leadership and input to this process, and also to Martina for her work on efficiencies, which is invaluable. A big thanks to the finance team for all their hard work and expertise for many months to make sure that this process runs smoothly. In particular to Liam, Patrick, Chris and also Katrina in particular. But also to the wider finance team because it really is a big team effort. So it's great that we've such a committed and experienced and knowledgeable team that we can all rely on. So thanks to everyone for your contributions. So moving on to the report at 3.2, members, this is an item for decision. The report lays out Council's requirements in terms of complying with SIPFA's Prudential and Treasury Management Codes. Your approval sought for the report and the appendices in order that Council meet these requirements. So thanks again, members, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Dominic. I'm going to bring in Alderman Baxter first.
It's just to say, Chair, Councillor Barry's trying to get on. I think he's emailed through he can't get on the hybrid system. Councillor Barry texted me there just to say he can't get on the system.
Okay, we'll take a wee look at that. Bring in Councillor Michael next.
Thank you, Lord Mayor. No, just happy to propose a recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Michael. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Ferguson, I'll bring you in. Thank you.
Happy to second, Lord Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Ferguson. Okay, members, that brings us then to item 4. No AOB requests have been received, so thank you and safe home.